Yes, indeed. And we'll pick it up on there. We've got Chief Shukwu Oshonibara, who is the chairman, Yoruba Summit Program. He's also a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, they also suggest that the way and manner with which this restructuring agenda is being championed, it seems to be going about it the wrong way. The Honourable there just talked about the fact that there are processes and procedures as enshrined in our laws that you can explore if you really want this addressed.
Yes, there's no doubt that we have a constitutional democracy, and in that process, yes, there's a trajectory that you're supposed to follow if you want the constitution of a country to be changed. This issue is a very fundamental issue in the polity, and those of us that are asking for basically its devolution. People who are, I will say, are federalists, are people who want this entity to remain as a strong entity. And we are proffering suggestions as to the trajectory that you can follow to make it a more viable and productive entity. At the moment, we have security challenges, we have challenges of governance, we have challenges of structures. And if you look back to the way we started this Nigerian entity, the founding fathers of this country realized that being a country that is comprised of ethnic nationalities, different ethnic groups, that the best political system to adopt in such a situation is a federal system. Now, a federal system actually has those who are the federating units exercising autonomy in various aspects of governance. We don't have that. We have a unitary system. The military has introduced a unitary system. So basically, the people of the Southwest are only suggesting what they say is the best structure. And that structure too is actually consistent.
Why do you think that you should go back to the 1960 or is it 1963
people say go back, but it's not going back. It's actually reinventing the essence of the Nigerian entity.
What good will it bring to the Yoruba race?
Sorry?
What good will it bring or will it do for the Yoruba race?
It will allow devolution of power and an ability to control most of their social and economic services needs.
How?
Well, if you look at what we've suggested, and I see that the member of the House thinks that regions there's something not useful about regions. But see, we've not actually suggested that states should be abolished. We've not said so. We've said that at the moment we have, even in our constitution, we have this concept of 6 regions. We're saying that those regions are useful levels of government that can be responsible for the common economic and social services of the states within that region. And we're also suggesting that the present system that we have a bicameral National Assembly is wasteful. I mean, no one has actually told us why we need 2 arms to be exercising legislative functions at the center. There's no useful purpose of having 2 arms exercising legislative functions and making laws for us. There's no useful purpose for it. It's wasteful. And we've also suggested the parliamentary system of government, where you have the executive and the legislature in one arm of government. Several African countries that have actually tried this presidential system that we've not been forced to be operating have reverted back to parliamentary system because it's cheaper and it continues to deliver legislative functions without the huge cost of running a presidential system.
We'll pick it from there
Yeah.
when we come back from this break in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We're continuing our conversation with Chief Shukwu Oshonibara, who is the chairman of Yoruba Summit Program. Are you asking for regionalism or a change in our system of governance from presidential to parliamentary? And how is that going to affect anything if we do change?
We're asking for both.
Oh.
We're maintaining that a presidential system is too expensive for us to operate, and that it's more important to actually channel our resources on human capital development than in sustaining running government.
So you think it's about the system, not about those who are running it?
Well, I think the system itself, I mean, with great respect to all the presidents we've had, different presidents have come and they've done their best, but they've not actually gotten us to the level that we were at the time that we had parliamentary system as a form of governance. So we think that the system itself is defective. But apart from the system being defective, we think that the structures, I mean, so really there are two problems that we have. We have problems of the structure itself. The example that the Vice President gave in the clip you've just shown is fairly useful for us to look at, particularly in the context of the Southwest. At the time that Western Nigeria was, at the time that he's referring to, we had a region. We had Western Nigeria. So there was the ability to use economies of scale to ensure quality production of cocoa within the Southwest. Now, the belt that is capable of producing cocoa in the Southwest extends beyond states. So what we are saying is that, yes, states are there, they are useful level of governance. We are not suggesting that they should be abolished, but we are saying that there's a need to have a structure that is able to manage the economic and social needs of contiguous states. And that level of government must be able to exercise legislative and executive functions, even for those who want to invest.
But first, even before we get to that point,
yes,
we must, as you did say, follow due process.
Yes.
And we agreed that the previous guest before you also said so, the Honourable. So in trying to follow in due process, does the National Assembly have that conviction, do you think, to make laws that will allow for, say, a referendum as a good place to start, that allows for whether or not we should go the way of restructuring and how to go about it? Shouldn't that have been your first point of call instead of the meeting that you had in Ibadan?
No. In any democracy, the first point of call is to ask the people themselves and the leaders of the people what they think about suggestions about the structure they want for their country. So what we've done is a conditioned precedent to what you're suggesting. Now, I listened to the member of the House from
Gombe.
From Gombe. And you can see that he has this fixation that there's something backwards about regions. Now, if you don't have regions, for example, if you just devolve power to all the states, there still will be social and economic needs and infrastructural needs, interstate needs. So if you don't devolve power to a region that is able to actually exercise functions over those needs, then you're saying that you're going back to unitary system, because it will never be that it will be the federal government that will be exercising those functions. And even the example you gave about Niger Delta. Now, the Niger Delta is probably better able to manage its resources if it was the states that comprise Niger Delta who determine those who will be part of the Niger Delta Commission. But that doesn't happen. The Niger Delta Commission are people that are chosen from the center. So we're saying that for Nigeria to remain as one entity, if you look everywhere else in the world, even in the United Kingdom that's supposed to be united, they're devolving power. Even within homogeneous parts of the United Kingdom, they're devolving power.